In this video, we'll have a look at how to wire 120 volt receptacles in series. We'll look at a few scenarios, one where, for example, we have the end of the cable run coming through here, and another where we're going through a series of receptacles and then have our end cable run. And for this, we'll need 2-wire. As always, with any electrical, make sure to switch your breaker off to the circuit in question. You'll see on your outlets that you've got brass screws and you've got silver screws. The brass screws will receive your black wires carrying the current, and your silver screws will receive the white wires or the neutral. Here we have the first scenario where we have our hot line in coming through the outlet and finishing on the last outlet of the run. So if we have a closer look, we can see that our line in, our black line in, which is our hot carrying our current, goes in our top brass screw, and then we've got our black coming out of the bottom brass screw leading into the top brass of the last outlet of the run. Then with our neutrals, you see our neutral from our line in coming in our top silver screw, and then going out the bottom silver screw, and then coming into the top silver screw on the final outlet of our run. Looking at our grounds, we've got these all ganged together. You see we've got our ground from our line in, ground from our 2-wire going out, and the pigtail from the outlet itself. Now the only thing that's not there, it's not pictured, is of course there's going to be a pigtail also on your box, coming from your box. So I've left that out in the entire demonstration of this just for easy visuals, but we'll see those in more detail towards the end of the video. And again, now our ground's on the final outlet of the cable run. We've got our ground from our 2-wire, we've got our pigtail from our outlet, and we would also have a pigtail from our box. If you're adding more outlets to the series, you duplicate this wiring configuration, as we'll see next. Now in the second scenario, we have our line in coming through our outlet, another one in series coming through that, and then ending with our final outlet at the end of our cable run. So we can see, just like how we started previous, we've got our hot line in coming to our top brass screw, and then our bottom brass screw has our black line out going into our top brass in of our next outlet, coming out the bottom brass screw and into our final outlet in our top brass screw. Now looking at our neutrals, we can see our line in to our top silver screw, coming out, our white coming out of our bottom silver screw, and then into our top silver screw of our next outlet, out of the bottom silver screw, and then into our final outlet, our top silver screw. Looking at our grounds, so we've got our ground from our line in, our ground from our 2-wire coming out, and we've also got our pigtail off of our outlet itself, and there will be a pigtail from your box as well, so those will all come together. Our ground here, same thing. From our 2-wire in, our 2-wire out, our pigtail from the outlet, and our pigtail from our box. And then in the final one of the run, we've just got our ground from our 2-wire, our ground from our pigtail, and our ground from our box. If you're adding more outlets, you duplicate the wiring configuration that we see in these first two. So here's an example of an outlet in series that can either be at the beginning of the series or in the middle of the series. We've got our black line in, our hot wire, our power coming into the brass screw, and then going out to our next one in the series. Again, black to the brass screw. Looking at the other side, we can see our white wire coming in to our silver screw, and then white wire going out to the next outlet, again on our silver screw. We've got a pigtail off of our ground for the outlet here, and we've got a pigtail off of the metal box itself. Then we've got a ground from each of the two wire themselves, all coming together and moretted together here. So here we have an outlet at the end of the cable run. See, we've got our black line in, our power coming into the brass screw. Incidentally, I like to tighten the remaining brass screw down so that it won't make any contact if you've got a metal box. Then on the other side, we've got our neutral going into our silver screw. For the grounds, we've got, you can see our pigtail from the outlet. There's a pigtail from the box, and then the copper from the two wire. For an extra layer of protection, in addition to tightening down any unused screws, put a layer of electrical tape over the contacts, and then there's no chance that they'll make contact with the metal box.